Well, here we go again, everyone. Welcome to WKYC's Facebook Live. I'm Dave DeNatale, and boy, what a tough night for the Cleveland Cavaliers as they were beaten down in the second half after a really promising start in Boston in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Got off to a tremendous start, but the Cavaliers beaten tonight 107-94 at the TD Bank Garden. So now Boston leads the series 2-0 as the series will shift back to Cleveland. And there's going to be a little bit of time now between tonight and when the two teams see each other next. They will not play until Saturday night at the Q. So the Cavaliers are going to have a few days to think about this one, folks. And there's going to be a lot to think about. There's going to be a lot to talk about after this one. Things went well in the first quarter for the Cavs. And by the way, get your comments out there and your questions. We'll try to answer them. I'm saying hi to Chris and Joseph, and good to have everybody with us here tonight on a tough night here for the Cavs. LeBron James scored 21 points in that. Actually, I think it was 25. It was 21 in the first quarter, 25 at halftime. 21 in the first quarter as the Cavs led 27-23. And then you got into the second quarter. LeBron left the game momentarily. He looked like he might actually have a concussion. He got hit in the neck, came back, and ended up with 42 points. But I thought in the second quarter, that's where the momentum shifted a little bit. The Cavs had an opportunity to really put some distance between them and Boston, and they didn't do it. And the Cavs went into halftime with a 55-48 lead, and it should have been a lot more. It should have been a more decisive first half and for the Cavs, and it wasn't. And we got into that third quarter, and that old problem, boy, how many times, we've done this a couple of times here on this show, but how many times have Jim Donovan and I talked about it, Ben Axelrod and Matt Florjancic have talked about it. That third quarter has just been an absolute nightmare for the Cavs this year, and it was again tonight. They were outscored 36-22 in the third quarter, and suddenly a 7-point Cavs lead, turned into a 7-point Boston lead going into the fourth quarter. And then you went into that fourth quarter, you knew something special was going to happen for the Cavs to get a win, and they scored just 17 points, and that's just not going to get it done. Boston quarters of 23, 25, 36, and 23. That 36 points was amazing. Cavs 27, 28, and then in the second half, just 39 points in the second half. So you think about it like this. Remember, they only had 36 points in the first half. I think it was 35 or 36 in game one, and then 39 in the second half tonight. And a lot of it is Boston's defense, and you have to make sure you credit what Brad Stevens and his team are doing. They're really playing great defense. But the Cavs, if you watch that game tonight, Matthews says that the Cavs have got to play better than this. The Cavs are getting out-hustled. I mean, that was the thing I took away from that second half. Every loose basketball was picked up by Boston. Every 50-50 ball picked up by Boston. By the way, the aforementioned Matt Florjancic, I just found out, is watching. Hello, my friend. He is writing about this game right now, as is Ben Axelrod at WKYC.com. So make sure you're checking out the guys as they're putting out some great content, unfortunately in a losing effort. But the Cavs committed 15 turnovers tonight. Boston had 8 steals. And I just thought things like that were the difference in the game. I mean, Boston just, and some of it's the younger legs. I mean, the Cavs, they're veterans, guys like J.R. Smith and Kyle Korver, and to some degree, Kevin Love, and even LeBron, 33-year-old LeBron. I'm watching Tatum and Brown and Rozier and Morris, and the young bench that Boston has. I mean, it's not really no box office names on that bench, but they're young players who come in and make an impact. And that's one thing we haven't seen the Cavs do that. So I just thought that was the big thing. I mean, Boston, you think about it, last year's team was Isaiah Thomas that the Cavs saw in the Eastern Conference Finals. And let's remember, Cavs had Kyrie, of course. But that Boston team last year was so much different. You had, Crowder, and you had Bradley, and you had Thomas. It was a good team. I don't want to sell them short. They had the best record in the East last year, but it felt like an older team, and it was a team that you felt like the Cavaliers could beat at any given time. This Celtics team, they may not be as talented as that team last year, but they're younger, they're hungry, and they are just out hustling the Cavaliers at every turn right now. Give them credit. They make their shots. I mean, Al Horford was pretty quiet until the fourth quarter. He made shots. Terry Rozier was pretty quiet until the second half, and then he started to light it up. I was wondering how Jaylen Brown was going to do and Tatum were going to play in this series. Those two youngsters that, I think the Cavaliers, if they could do the Kyrie trade all over again, would love to do. These two youngsters, both were superb tonight. Less so Brown, more so than Tatum. But, I mean, Boston is just they have absolute, right now they have all the confidence in the world. They're not losing at home. So, Rob says the Cavs will win both at home, then it's a 3-game series. Well, and absolutely, Rob, you're right. If the Cavs can hold serve at home, then we're back to, basically then it's a 3-game series and you just have to win 2 of the last 3. Jim Donovan, as I heard he and Dave Chudowski kind of walk in here in the newsroom, you just ask yourself right now, can this Cavs team beat Boston 4 times in the next 5 games? Can they do it? I mean, I still think so. I still think they can do it. Because I still believe in LeBron. Now, let me get to LeBron because a bunch of you are bringing this up. LeBron James tonight in 39 minutes, he had 42 points, 12 assists, 10 rebounds. Yet some of you are wondering or thinking that he quit down the stretch. I didn't see that. Honestly, I didn't see that. I thought LeBron, again, he had 25 in the first half, so do the math. That's 17 in the second half. I think you have to remember something. I think in LeBron's case, he's carrying this team. He is absolutely lifting this team up with both shoulders. He got some help tonight from Kevin Love. But this is LeBron. I mean, this is all LeBron right now. And quite honestly, he needs help. And he didn't get it tonight. I mean, I thought he was going to need this kind of a scoring performance for the Cavs to win. And, look at it. I mean, after you had 42 for James, 22 for Love, and then your next highest scorer was Kyle Korver with 11. All those came in the first half. I mean, he didn't score anything in the second half. The Cavs starting backcourt of George Hill and J.R. Smith played an average of 30 minutes, 33 for Hill, 27 for Smith. They scored a grand total of 3 points on 1 of 11 shooting, including 0 of 6 from beyond the 3-point line. Boston's starting backcourt played roughly 35 minutes and scored a total of 41 points, so an average of 20 apiece from Rozier and Brown. You can't win. You can't win like that. And, somebody said, you get LeBron some help. I think that would be great. That would be fabulous, but that's one of the other issues right now that I think, we're going to actually have some time to talk about over these next couple of days between now and Saturday. The fact that the NBA draft lottery was tonight, the Cavs basically held chalk, had the 8th overall pick in the draft. That's what their percentage was. That's what they got. No miracles this time. And the problem is now you start to look at the Kyrie Irving trade from a wider lens, and you sit there and you say, okay, what did we get for a guy who was such an important piece, a franchise piece, a cornerstone piece of this franchise? Well, you got Isaiah Thomas injured, traded him, and got Larry Nance Jr. and Jordan Clarkson in return. Okay, Jay Crowder traded him and essentially got George Hill. Is that right? No, I'm sorry, to Utah. Rodney Hood back. Not good. And now you have this draft pick. And, I don't know what the Cavs are going to do with this draft pick, but, it's going to be, Chris says you can't trade that 8th pick for a star. Chris, not really. I mean, maybe some team might help you out there, but I doubt it. So that you're looking at the Kyrie trade, And I know we did lots of shows and lots of the opinion pieces. The Cavs, if the Cavs were going to do it, they couldn't afford to mess this up. And it looks like they've messed up this Kyrie trade, and it is going to cost them, not necessarily today or this week or this series, but in the near and distant future. Not getting a better return on that trade is going to absolutely hurt them. So that's going to be something that's going to be discussed in the next couple days as the Boston Celtics continue to rise, and they've got a 2-0 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals without Kyrie Irving or Gordon Hayward. Addison says Cavs did not play smart. No, they didn't. They did not play smart. A lot of just weird errant passes tonight, ill-advised shots, especially when you kind of started to see that lead go to 5 and 7 points. Then you start getting desperate, and then you start throwing up prayers. And more often than not, they're just not going to get answered, and you're sloppy. And that's what happens out there. So, yeah, going to be a lot of time here for the Cavs to think about it, and maybe they can kind of regroup, put some things back together, and get ready for Saturday night. Because obviously the season's on the line. This 4-year period with LeBron James back in the fold will be on the line. Not knowing what the future is going to hold, I don't know. So there'll be a lot of time for answering questions. But here's what we know right now: the Cavaliers will head back home from Boston, down 2-0 in the best-of-7 Eastern Conference Finals. It's the first time LeBron James has been down 0-2 in a series in the Eastern Conference, going back all the way to 2008 when the Cavaliers lost to the Boston Celtics in the second round of the NBA playoffs. That Celtics team that ended up going and winning the championship with the big three of Pierce, Allen, and Kevin Garnett. All right, that's going to do it for me. Let's see, a couple of quick quotes here. Michael says, we're lucky enough to have made it this far. We don't have anything near a championship caliber team. Well, Michael, you might be right. I don't I've had, every now and then you watch this Cavs team and you sit there and you go, okay, well, maybe they're not. This is okay. The way they played Toronto, and you sit there and you go, okay, we're peaking up, and this is good. This may not be a championship caliber team after all. So we'll certainly find out, I think, in the next couple of days as we get ready for Saturday night in Game 3 right back here in Cleveland. All right, again, Matt Florjancic and Ben Axelrod will have plenty of coverage for you on WKYC.com, and Jimmy's got the highlights for you. Not many highlights, but he's got a few highlights for you coming up here on Channel 3 News right now, so make sure you catch him for that. All right, that'll do it for me. I'm Dave DeNatale. Thanks so much for watching here on WKYC's Facebook Live.